Hey guys, so my name's Philip and I was actually done with all of the bullshit on the internet, so I decided to make this video to show how everyone can become a multi-millionaire in their life without even having like a worry, like 100% guaranteed. It is probably the easiest way, but still the longest way to make a lot of money long term. I like money, I like businesses, I like investments. That's why I wanted to do this little guide. I'm gonna change the setup. Hold on, I'm gonna put the light so you can see better the board, but let's see how this goes. Step number one is maybe the easiest. Step. I really hope you guys can see it in the right side and I'm not like writing like when you sit like in inverse. Step one is to never listen to people online. And this might sound fucking crazy because I am someone that's just talking to you that you do not know that is online myself. The only reason why I'm putting this as number one is because people lie online, all right? People lie, they scam, they're trying to fuck you up. So don't listen to people online. You're probably gonna save a lot of money. But everyone that you see online is not necessarily a bad person. If they have real social proof, if they have a real business that generated revenue in the real life, listen to them. And these are the actual people that you listen to. When I say don't listen to people online, I'm talking about the Miami gurus that don't have real results. I'm talking about the fake Dubai lifestyle people that are trying to sell you $5,000 courses. This is who I'm talking about. But people that have like real businesses like Alex or Monzi in Quebec, there's Serge Gattari, people who have actual knowledge in business. These are the people that you listen to. So already this is going to save you a lot of money. But now let's say you're not this much of like a business person. Maybe you're just someone young who's trying to find a way to invest your money and make a lot of money when maybe they're going to get older and that they actually want to have like a nice retirement with a nice home, a nice car, live out and going on vacation. This is going to be the easiest way to do it. I only wanted to put like these quick steps to make sure that no one actually just goes out and spends 5K on some online random guru. So now that's nice. We're gonna go into the real sauce. I know I write badly, guys. You don't need to say it to me in the comments. I know I'm freaking ass at writing. Compound interest. This is how we're going to do it. It's way easier than you guys think. I'm gonna give you an example. Let's say you're able to save up a small amount of $350 a month. I think that everyone in their life should be able to save up the amount of $350 per month. If you guys can't save up $350 with your 9-to-5 job, quit 9-to-5 job and get a better one, or get a part-time job and make more money. So let's say you already have $350 a month. What you're gonna do with it is really simple. You're going to invest in normal stuff, in the stock market, which is, I'm sorry, this is really like a homemade setup, into the S&P 500. You may be wondering, what is the S&P 500? How do I invest in the S&P 500? I will answer all of these questions quite shortly. So the S&P 500 are actually the 500 biggest stocks, biggest companies in America. So they are the 500 stocks of like the biggest companies. So if you don't know what a stock is, it's just like a share of a business. So if you own, for example, an Apple stock, you're one of the shareholders of Apple. So you're one of like the owners of Apple, actually, which is quite nice. Well, it was like if you're the owner of the 500 biggest companies in the US. And why we want to invest in S&P 500 is easy, because it won't crash. If it crashes, it means that the whole entire US market industry will crash. So that's not something to be quite afraid of, because if it crashes, it means that you're probably going to die because there's a war or there's really something bad going on. So that's why there are no problems actually in investing in only this S&P 500, because you don't need to be like a freaking Albert Einstein of stocks to know that there's like no chances that the US literally collapses entirely. And if it does, that you're probably, I don't know where you live, but you're probably going to die too, because it's probably like a ginormous war or the end of the world. So that's what nice. And what is even better is that, oh, that's the black pen. What is even better is that the S&P 500 gets a 10 to 15% capital gain, gets 10 to 15% a year, and it's been doing this since like over 100 years. So we are sure that these are actual numbers. These are not like made out of thin air. These are actual numbers. So if, for example, you only invest $350 a month in the S&P 500 with 10 to 15%, I will get the calculatress out, but I'm gonna do something. This is going to be over 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, and let's say 40 years. For example, if you start at 20 years old and you're 60, this is how much you're going to have after all of these. Only investing $350 a month into the S&P 500. So I will do the math real quick. Here is how much money you actually have after all of these years of investing your little $350 a month. If I can give you a comparison, $350 a month is like $87 a freaking week. So if you stop going to fucking McDonald's each week and you stop like trying to buy a freaking Mercedes at 18 years old, you should have the money to be able to put your $350 a month away. So in 5 years, you would have $30,000, which is all right, I guess, because it's quite not a lot of money saved up. In 10 years, you would have $75,000. So that's nice too. It's it's enough to put like a nice cash down on a beautiful house. In 20 years, things are getting a little bit better. 20 years, you have $250,000 after 20 years. So that's quite nice. You could buy a nice Lamborghini Huracan with that. But the most interesting part is if you go to your retirement in 40 years. So let's say you start investing at 18 years old, 40 years later, 58 years old, you're going to have $1.7 million saved up just in like that, in liquidity, that if you put in a CELI in Canada, you will have 0% imposition on. So that's incredibly nice because everyone likes to have a little $1.7 million. I know what you guys think. It's maybe not that much, maybe not a lot of money. So I'm gonna put the numbers right below here of how much you would actually gotten out of your own pockets, so that you guys can understand why I say that this is really important, even if you're like someone quite normal and that you don't really have any fancy business knowledge or anything like that. If, for example, after 5 years, you've put your $350 down a month in the S&P 500, you will have put in down 21,000. So if instead you just decided to like keep it in your account or keep it in a saving account that's maybe like 2% interest, which isn't shit, if you guys want the real truth, which is maybe just like freaking $21,500, some shit like that, probably less to be honest, and you would have 30,000. So already that's like a $9,000 profit. After 10 years, you would have put in down 42K. You will have $75,000 by investing in the S&P 500. So that's another like 30K, $33,000 profit precisely. If you would have waited the 20 years, like we said, you would have turned $84,000 into $250,000. So you only would have gotten like 84,000 out of your own pocket, and you would have gotten freaking $170,000 in profit without doing nothing. So that's nice too. And in 40 years, Because you would have a 1.7 million, the amount of money that comes directly from your pocket is $168,000. So you will have $168,000 of your own pocket put in the S&P 500, and you will be out with $1.7 million, which is over $1.6 million just given out to you, just like that, because of the easy rule of compound interest. Because each year you reinvest your profits, you get more and more and more money every year. So if you have $250,000 and you get 10% back, that is freaking 25K that you get back, just like that. So that's quite crazy how quick it gets at some level. And if, for example, you decide to start investing at 18 years old and you really only wanted to get it for like your retirement, this money, and you wanted to get it for like when you're 65, so actually 47 years investing the same $300 a month. Oh my god, that is so horrible arrow. I'm gonna show you how much you would have. Like I said, let's say you start at 18 years old, you invest till you're 65, so till you take like your retirement and you're like tired of life, you're going to end up with $3.5 million, which was actually $197,000 a start. So, well, from your own pocket, I mean. So you're gonna have putting down $197,000 and you're gonna have back $3.5 million, which makes you a multi-millionaire, which is pretty nice. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video with all of these beautiful graphs, and this was not financial advice, so do everything that you want with the advice I gave you guys today. That I hope you have a nice day.